Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you've seen me on TikTok, nice to have you. And if you're new here, hello. I have played The Sims before. If you scroll down through my channel, you will see some old Sims videos. That was from about, I want to say like 2022, maybe 23. And I decided with life and work life I needed to take a break, but now I'm back. Here today with this video, I wanted to do just like a simple let's play to kind of relax and just have fun. I feel like to put a challenge on it right away would be a little harsh, so I'm just going along with the let's play, a family that you guys can get attached to and that I'm already attached to. I really like the storyline that I'm going with. You probably have heard a storyline similar, but it is going to be about a family that lives on a farm, kind of like passed down, and they hire this handyman, and he ends up falling in love with the farmer's daughter. So, I guess they fall in love with each other. And this build, I kind of just came up with on the spot. I was just building until I liked the design. I'm really proud of how it came out. You'll see the whole process. I didn't skip any of it except for the parts where I would log off because I did have to do this within like a span of 3 days. And I think it took about 3 hours. When I was going through this footage, I was so impressed with how this place came out because I have never built something so in depth, in detail, without using like Pinterest or YouTube shorts or TikTok videos to kind of help. And overall, I'm just really proud of this design because it's the first design that I've spent hours on and actually was like proud of. Even though for the decoration portion, I did use like the pre-saved options that they have in The Sims, but I kind of made it like my own. What I plan to bring with these Sims videos is just like something that you could put on, watch in the background, and watch on a day off when you're bored. I really enjoyed The Sims. I played since The Sims 3 at the, I wouldn't say very beginning, but I did play during The Sims 3, and most of the time of The Sims 4, I did take a major break because of my career. But now that I have time and I am back, I would like to incorporate some of this stuff into my channel. Now, as far as gaming goes, I do plan to play other games than The Sims. Later on, when I get a better feel of editing and posting and kind of have like a schedule or routine down, I do want to do streaming, which I think would be very nice because then, the people who would like to tune in during the stream can do that. And then whoever misses it could just watch the regular video when I put it out. So I think it would be super fun because I've never tried that part of content creating. Now, since we are on this part of the video, I do want to point out that this roof was so difficult to make because I've never made like a rounded roof before, and it took me a minute until I honestly just gave up and just let it be a rectangular, pointy, cornered roof, whatever. I didn't want to look it up because I was pretty much on a roll of just kind of going with the flow. In the end, the roof did look decent. I wasn't mad about it. And realistically, it's not going to really affect anything. But if you guys do have pointers on how to make that roof round, that would be great because I could not figure it out to save my life. And I tried pretty much everything, I think. Alrighty, so here we are going on into day 2 of probably hour 2 of building this house, and we are pretty much almost done with it. We got the bare bones, we got the layout of the outside of the house and the inside technically because I already did all that, but now it's just trying to figure out how to get this awkward situation of a deck to cooperate. It's a little bigger than an average upstairs deck, I feel like, but I was gonna put a lot of things for that sim out on that roof or that deck, so now it's literally just putting the bigger finishes on the outside along with like wallpaper or whatever, and then moving on to the fun part, which is decorating the inside. I'm gonna be so real with you. The designing of this house is just pure creative chaos because I have no method to this madness of designing. I just kind of go with the flow, and if I feel like it works, then I'm like, okay, I'm proud of it. Um, I never really go off of like, oh, this pack has to match with this pack, just because I like the chaoticness of it a little bit. I mean, it's not too chaotic, it obviously all goes together. But as you can see, like, this house in the back is made of brick, and then when I do the wallpaper for the outside of the main house, it's gonna be wood. And obviously, there's like kind of like a purpose of that. I do all of my stuff purely based on story, and that little shed, the little shed back there, is probably from like their greatest grandmother who lived there so long ago and expanded the house later on. I don't know. Um, but it worked and it looked good. So now I think what I struggled with the most was trying to figure out how I was gonna fill in the outside because there's so much land, and obviously it's a farm, so I didn't want to put a pool or something to like just fill the empty space. So I was really trying to manage my space wisely and not take advantage of it, and just dump a bunch of animals on it either. I wanted to be very thoughtful on the age of this house, on like how lived in it's supposed to be. So I really took my time and care with the making of the outside. I think it was probably the longest process out of all of them. And I would say that most of my time was spent just doing the outside of this house, making the bones of this house. Now, this piece that I'm messing with right here, I was trying to find every and any way to use it. I have never used it before, but I've always wanted to, and I just could not figure it out. So I was like, forget it, go back to another plan. Because I kind of had an idea of what I could have used it for, and it just didn't work out. Now here's where I really started playing with the wallpaper. I didn't know really what I wanted to go for. I really liked this green color, but because the land was so green, I didn't want it to blend and kind of, I guess, take away from the house. I really wanted the house to stand out. So I was like, kept trading between colors. I really liked the gray. It was between the gray and I think white, but in the end, white initially won just because it had a lot more cleaner of a finish. I think if I wanted to make the house a little bit more aged, I could have gone with the gray or even like the like nude brown, which would have also looked nice. but I want it to look like a house and not um, like the barn. Now here is where the fun part happens. This is where the personality comes in and the color starts to unravel. I tried to make sure that every area had its own look, had its own feel, so that way it didn't look like a bland, plain house like it does on the outside. At least when you come inside, it's more cozy, inviting, a little bit more fun. I really enjoyed the way this came out because what I was really doing was just kind of going through the pre-made selections and just picking and choosing what I wanted. I wanted to go for a blue kitchen because or is this blue or is this teal? I think it's like a teal turquoise something. But I really enjoy this color and I don't think I've ever used this color before, especially with yellow. Usually I'll do like the yellow and white, but I really enjoyed this. Okay, so right here, I kept going back and forth between the bathroom and the kitchen because there were some items that I was trying to find and I couldn't find until I started doing this bathroom. But I wanted a rustic, darker look for the bathroom since everything else was going to be more colorful, bright. And I honestly think the bathroom ended up turning out really nice. And for a minute, I could not figure out what kind of wallpaper I wanted for the kitchen. I did go with a darker color, but it honestly fit really well with the kitchen since it was so colorful. And after that was all done, we were finally able to move on to the living room, which in my head I kind of made up this like little story where when the daughter got a little bit older, she was like, hey, can I redecorate the living room? And they kind of gave her reign over that. So it's a little bit more modern than the rest of the house. But I did want to include a little library since we didn't really have space anywhere else for a little library. And I could not figure out this little piece and why it wouldn't go in the middle. I was struggling for a minute, but it ended up turning out really good. And I liked the idea of the more modern living room just because everything was more countryside, more farm living. As I began to go through the dining room, I realized there was a problem. It wasn't big enough to fit all the chairs, so I just made it a little bit bigger. In the end, it kind of worked out because we ended up putting some, I think they're like wine holder thingies, and it kind of made the dining room look more eventful instead of just having chairs and a table in there. And I didn't do too much because I felt like they weren't really going to be eating there unless there was like parties or holidays. So I just kind of kept it simple in there. Since finishing the downstairs, I'm now just adding some finishing touches and making the rest of the house just kind of have a little bit of a lived-in personality. Getting some of the baking stuff for the female sim, the daughter, because she is wanting to be a baker. Yeah, and then just adding the wallpaper and moving on up upstairs. And I think the first room we start on is the parents' room, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I guess we're just gonna finish decorating down here first. Realizing now, I guess I decided to work on both rooms at the same time. So you're gonna see me kind of hop back and forth. I think I ended up focusing on the parents' room and then coming back to the daughter's room. But I decided to go with a warmer, cozy feeling for the parents since they are a little bit older. And then for the daughter, I do go for a lighter, softer, more looking room, more like innocent. And yeah, I didn't really make the daughter's room too big because obviously it's not her house. And I make the parents' room a little bit bigger because I just felt like it needed the space to really give off like master bedroom. And then you have their little like porch balcony that end up turning into like a little art studio for the mom and that you'll see in a little bit. And the daughter, she just has her like homework desk, her dresser, and then her super big um, what is it called? Patio porch? Yeah. And I make sure she has a lot of stuff to do. I think I give her like a yoga mat. I give her the little like stool for like meditation, and then I give her like candle making stuff, and I just make sure that she has a lot of activities, make her seem super adventurous. we are now finally in the home stretch. We have finished the inside of the house, I believe, and moved to the back where we are going to be making the stables for the horses. Right now we only have one, but I do plan on getting a second horse on top of having 2 cats. I don't know if you saw the cat tree in the house, but we do planning on getting 2 cats so they can double as like farm cats. I feel like that was so cute in my head. And then plus they can have like little kittens and things like that, and we could make money off of them. And yeah, I think we end up adding some chickens and a cow. And I can't remember what I named them all, but I believe I have a recording of it. That you'll probably see in a different video, but I'm just trying to get into detail of this little farm area. I do section it off to give the property some dimension, so that way it's just not all green grass. So you will see me here cornering it off. I don't fully fence it off just because I didn't want to move that tree. I really liked it there, so I was just like, you know what, we're just gonna go with it. And we didn't want the chickens or the horses to feel like blocked in, I guess. So we were like, I don't know why I keep saying we, like the royal we, I don't know. And this is it, guys, the final house tour. I went ahead and added the crops just to make it more lived in, and added the animals. I don't know if they have names yet in this part, but they were added. I am really happy with how this came out. Need to work on my house tour, camera movements a little bit. Had a little bit of difficulty with that, but besides that, everything came out amazing.